It's been an interesting weekend listening to pundits and reporters and folks that I know talking about Democrats finally coming around to the reality that they're powerless to stop Donald Trump, something that I said the day after the election. And it's interesting to watch as slowly people are coming around to the reality that bad stuff's going to happen. Shocking. And that we're not going to be able to stop all of it. And that our elected leaders are not the answer. They are not saviors. They're tools to, well, us getting what we want, need, demand, all of that. And what's frightening to me is how silenced some have now gotten. And over the weekend, and the reason I bring this up, over the weekend, a friend of mine who's a reporter called me and said, "Hey, I can't get any quotes from workers on this topic that I'm looking into. What do you think?" And I said, "Look, the reality is," and her question was, what do you think of SEIU rejoining the AFL-CIO?" And I said, "It's a good thing. It would be nice to have a unified House of Labor. It would be nice to have one movement heading in one direction. That's not happening, and it's not going to happen for a while. But it would be good to have that kind of environment where working people are kind of on the same page, demanding, within guardrails of the same kind of stuff. Because the only way you're going to stop someone like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the billionaire CEO class that's running our government is with an organized working class, with empowered working people who are willing to stand up. And her surprise and her shock and her dismay had been, well, I can't get any of these people who are getting fired or being mistreated at work. I can't get any of these people who are union members to speak up. And I said, well, the reality is that is right-wing corporate, big money, Wall Street mission accomplished. That is the CEO class, the bosses beating down on people so badly that they're in fear of losing their situation, to use a Dickinsonian frame. Now understand, union members are your most empowered workers. They're the ones who in the workplace have a contract and know that, hey, I've got some backing. I'm not going to drive an unsafe truck down the road. I'm not going to do something that's going to harm myself or someone else. I'm not going to do something really stupid that could hurt the company, even though the boss wants it done, because you're empowered because you have representation. You've got a union, you've got a contract, you've got a mechanism to help protect you. But we're in this weird moment where you've got Trump and Musk and all of these people saying, none of that stuff matters to us. We don't care about your rule of law. We don't care about how things were done yesterday. We're slashing and burning. We're tearing stuff down. And what's also interesting is, some of my red hat friends going, this isn't what we wanted. We wanted cheaper eggs. Eggs have never been higher. But the scary part is that she couldn't find a union worker to come talk with her. Now, understand, the union leaders, because it's their job, say, we'll give you quotes, whatever you need. Our spokespeople will do whatever you need. But they couldn't find someone to speak up. And this is where bad things happen. When the emboldened in society, the union members are now cowering in fear because they're afraid their firing is next. Because understand, Trump has been firing people left and right. And what I found really cute, I got to tell you, I found it really cute that Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Alaska, released a statement basically saying that, maybe you shouldn't, fire all those workers. She warned that many of these abrupt terminations will do more harm than good, stunting opportunities in Alaska and leaving holes in our community. And you go, that's so cute. You actually think they care about you or your community or the giant holes they're leaving across this country. No, that's the plan. And I also found it incredibly telling that the folks over at military.com, the headline of their article talking about how Elon Musk has basically just swapped up all of the veterans' data when they took over the Treasury system. The headline was "Infinite Nightmares at Once," and that, to me, that's really that's the sum of what's happened over this first month. You have an administration where there are no guardrails. There's nothing constraining them. The courts? You kidding? Democrats are spending a lot of time, effort, energy. We're going to go to the courts. We're going to have the judges. And what did Musk and company want to do? Oh yeah, we're going to impeach the judges who don't agree with us. They're basically telling us to our face, your little pesky laws, those things that you live by, they don't matter to us. We're the billionaires. We're the people who own this stuff. And we will do whatever, whenever, and however we choose. Now, while we still have an opportunity to vote, and that may or may not happen in 2 years, there are some who are on the side of it. We had the last free and fair election and we screwed it up. There's those. And there are folks who are going, no, if we get out and we do more, the Obama thing, if they can't steal all of them. Can they? Or can they just fear people into it? Now I go back to this frame. Infinite nightmares at once. Because remember, it was about the eggs. We had an election about eggs. Because I want cheap eggs again. But what did Trump go and do? Went and fired a bunch of the people who work at the laboratories in this national network of 58 facilities that were responding to the bird flu. Evidently, they were notified Friday that a quarter of the staff that they were going to be fired. And I see this one of two ways. One of two ways of if nobody notices that we have a bird flu, then we don't actually have it. And this is just the free market at work. And, maybe the dead birds that are dying, maybe they just sell them to the chicken processing plants and you end up eating those and you don't know. And ignorance is bliss, and whatever happens, because this is the world they want to take us back to, the wild, wild west, where there's no FDA, there's no EPA, there's no one watching what corporate America is shoving down our throats. There's none of that. There's just good old fashioned capitalism. And I'll tell you, the people who tell us that they're the smart ones, that they're the geniuses. I loved the story that came out over the weekend because they fired a bunch of people at the National Nuclear Security Administration. Because what could go wrong firing, a large number of people from the National Nuclear Security Administration? What could possibly go wrong? Well, they decided, finally figured it out. Maybe this was a bad idea. And this tells us one of three things, to be honest. One, they've got no idea what our government does. And two, they're not curious enough to ask. And three, they don't care. Not even a little bit. Could care less. So they went and they fired all these people. And then someone said, over here, maybe that was a bad idea. So here's the funny part. Here's the hysterical part. They didn't know how to get a hold of these people. This is the federal government. They didn't know how to use all of the information that they have to find these people, to tell them, okay, we're sorry. We didn't mean to fire you. Please come back to work. They didn't know how to find that. Now, I said, simple. Why didn't they just call AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees, and go, hey, your members that we fired, do you think they want their jobs back? You could have done that because I'm sure they have that information. But our federal government, with Elon Musk and his little Doge ferrets, evidently they couldn't find it either. And I guess this is what happens when you fire someone on your company email and then have no other way of reaching them other than your company email that you shut them out of. And yeah, this is how we're running our government. Now remember, these are the people who are the smart people. These are the people who we're going to run government like a business. Um, Anybody want to explain what kind of business operates in this fashion and still operates? Now, as I've said from the beginning, the reality is they want to destroy the federal government. They want to destroy the mechanisms by which we govern ourselves. And look, um, as I was saying to my friend, the labor movement is really the last line of defense because Democrats aren't the great defenders. The courts aren't going to be weak and ineffective. The Supreme Court certainly is not going to stand up to them. And Republicans, Congress, you kidding? You think there's a Republican out there? Lisa Murkowski's quote unquote one of the good ones, and she fires off a really weak. Oh, but hey, it's going to do more harm than good because we know you want to do good. Nonsense. They want to do the harm that they're doing. They want the suffering that they're causing. And this is where I come back to. And you've heard me say this 1,000 times. The solutions will come out of the savagery of the suffering from their savagery. The more of this stuff they do, the more harm they cause, the more what was it? Re-education camps for kids with ADD or whatever nonsense they're throwing out. That's going to be the opportunity. They're going to do bad stuff. And where Democrats need to put their energy, where activists need to put their energy, is in what will we do? How do we fix what they've screwed up? Because understand, what we're living through is the culmination of 40, 50 years of anti-government sentiment. Government's bad. Government can't do anything right. Government sucks. It doesn't matter. Blow the whole thing up. Doesn't matter. Until people start realizing, I've had a few people. I'm not getting my check. The thing I was expecting didn't happen. The grant that we were going to get to do this thing isn't coming. The system is grinding to a halt. And that is going to cause a lot of grief. The question, what solutions to that will we have ready come election time next in 2026? What solutions are you going to be running on? Going, look, we gave Doge Boy and his little ferrets access to the treasury. And what did they do? They swept up all of the data of our veterans. Think about that. Their disability ratings, how much they're paid, their medical records, all kinds of stuff that why would you want? They also shared classified information with the world on the internet, on their website. I wonder if anyone's going to want them to go to jail. And I still have people asking me, where are the guardrails? How come he can do this? Because everyone to this point still believed in this country, still believed in the rule of law, still believed in the sanctity of that office. These people don't. These people are full of nothing but thirst and quest for greed and power. And nothing's going to stand in their way. Donald Trump is somebody who's never been told no. Elon Musk is someone who believes he can buy his way out of anything or intimidate his way out of anything. These are who these people are. This is that. So this idea that, the courts are going to stop them. Really? The entire billionaire-funded think tank world, all of the stars have aligned. Someone asked, why is this Trump administration worse than the first? And did you expect this? And I said, yes. I told you during the campaign, this administration was going to be 1,000,000 times worse than the first administration because no one gave Trump a chance. This time they had Project 2025. They had a very clear playbook and told us what they were going to do and wrote it down. And now we're surprised. Now we're shocked they're doing it. Now we're shocked that they're actually, but I thought that was just rhetoric. And I guess you could give Trump credit for doing what he said he was going to do. It was us that was stupid, not all of us. But unfortunately, a majority, or at least the ones who showed up to vote. So we're going to suffer. We're going to pay the consequence. And where my activism is and where my mindset is where do we, when we have to clean up this mess, when we got to get the shovels out instead of the pitchforks, what are we going to rebuild? My grandfather always used to say, any idiot with a hammer can tear down a house. We're watching a bunch of idiots with hammers tear down our house. What are we going to do with those tools once we regain control? How will we rebuild our house? And will we hold them accountable? That, to me, that's the direction I believe we should go. And any Democrat worth their salt should be thinking in those exact terms. But I want to hear your thoughts. Email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. It's going to be a long, long year, but we're going to get through this. Trust me, gonna get through it, and we're going to do it together.